participation.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, guys. We're about 2 minutes away from starting. I just wanted to check that you can all hear me. If you could let us know through the chat pane, if you've got one, or through the questions somehow, let us know that you can hear me. I can hear someone clicking. Who's that?
Yep. Yes, can hear you.
Okay. And
yes, audio is good.
And you can also hear Mark. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so I've forgotten how to use the webinar software. Plus, it's been updated, so it's a little bit different, our control panel.
Loud and clear, both of you.
So you guys don't have a chat window as attendees. I was expecting to be able to chat to you in there. I shall investigate that for next time.
Hello, Mike.
So I should, go through and say hello to each and every one of you like they do in some webinars that I watch, where the presenter says, hello, Amelia, hello, Anita, hello, Ashley. I won't do that. Wait for that truck to go past.
Yeah. No, just this question page. So.
Okay. Well, I won't chat. I won't put anything in the chat then. I'll close that object. Now, we're a smaller group today than we were, say, for the equivalent one last year, so far anyway. That means maybe at some point, if you've got questions, or maybe at the end, because people will leave and we're an even smaller group, we can unmute your microphones and you can ask your question in real time or comment of what you think of what we've done today. We'll see how that goes. You'll also notice there's no webcam today. I forgot it, whereas in it somewhere else in the house, and I'm not going to be running around looking for it. So you're breathing a sigh of relief, probably. There's no webcam. Good, good. It's not on for long anyway. Mark doesn't have a webcam either. Good, good.
Nope. Nope. There is a raised hand icon.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. How do you want to handle questions? Just
as we discussed.
Monitor.
As we discussed, if there really is a question you would prefer to ask verbally rather than type it in, let Mark know and he'll use his judgment on that. Just hopefully you've got. The condition is that you've got a microphone and you're in a quiet room, and otherwise we'll mute you again. Otherwise it becomes unruly and it doesn't sound really good because we are recording. I hope we are recording.
Yeah, it started at the broadcast start.
Yeah, so if you really want to ask your question out aloud, do so, or let Mark know and we'll take that on board. Otherwise, just type a question into your window and Mark will ask it on your behalf at the appropriate sort of breakpoints. And then maybe at the end of the meeting, when there's even fewer of us left, we can open it up to a more general discussion with microphones too, because that's what we would have been doing had we been in Las Vegas. All right, given that it's 2 minutes past 8, we'll get started. So I don't have to look into the webcam. That's good. So very good morning to you all, and thank you for joining us. I hope you're safe and well wherever you are, and I hope the situation's improving wherever you are. We're all doing quite okay in Australia. We're pretty much COVID-free, which means we can do what we want, except leave the country. And the government has said that the international borders will be shut probably until the second half of next year, which is still a long way away. So we won't be traveling most likely to SPAC or even to Las Vegas training next year by the sounds of it. So I never thought I'd hear myself saying that I miss Las Vegas. Anyway, Mark is also with us. Good morning, Mark, officially. Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone.
And okay, with the pleasantries out of the way, we'll make a start. So as we said earlier, ask your questions through the control panel that you've got on my computer. It's on the right-hand side. I assume it's the same for you guys. You can ask a question in there. Mark will ask it on your behalf. If you really feel you'd prefer to ask it verbally because you can't type it out in a good format, let us know and we'll unmute you. And then, depending how we go and what numbers we've got at the end of the meeting, we could open it up for a more general discussion and commentary on what you're seeing today. Today and next week are part of a set. I think Matt is also with us. He's not mic'd up though. So Matthew is joining us. It's midnight in Paris. Sounds like a movie. Welcome, Matt. If you do have a microphone, let Mark know and we'll unmute you and you can say good morning in French. So Matt's with us as well. I think, I'm just whispering, I think Peter's here too under a pseudonym and he's spying on us. So watch your P's and Q's, everybody. It goes for Mark as well because Peter is with us as well under a false name. So, okay, so these two webinars today and next week are part of a set. Therefore, I'm not really sure where today will finish. We'll play that one a little bit by ear as to where we get to in, say, an hour's time and then decide whether to do a bit more today, a bit less next week, or vice versa. So we've broken it up into two so you don't have to sit here for, well over 2 hours. Okay. So where are we going to begin? We're going to begin with a little bit of a diversion. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking to Mark and we got talking about conditions. And I was saying, yeah, we've got some new conditions and conditions are great, blah, blah, blah. And he said something that made me a little bit sad. He said a lot of people don't use conditions. They just don't get it. They don't understand the concept of conditions. So they're not jumping into the control panel to have a play and look at conditions. And that made me a bit sad because as a lot of you know, and as we'll see again today and next week, conditions are quite powerful. So I want to spend the first 5 minutes, no more than that, explaining conditions in basic language, in basic English. And the reason I want to do that is because conditions are really not something that's unique to our software. Conditions are something that you encounter every minute of every day of your normal everyday life. You're confronted with conditions in exactly the same way that we can do it in our software. A condition is no more than a question that has a yes or no answer. That really does have a yes or no answer, not like a politician's question or politician's answer. A condition is simply a question that has a yes or no answer, nothing in between. And if you ask that question with an if in front of it and put a then at the other end of it, that's now a condition. Is it sunny today? It's either yes or no. If it is sunny today, then we've now made a condition. If it is sunny today, then wear a hat. We've got an action that resulted from the answer yes to that condition. The condition being, if it is sunny today, then wear a hat, then wear sunscreen. So I've just prepared a couple of quick slides to amplify this point a little bit. Is it raining today? Even before you leave the house, unknowingly, you're asking yourself yes or no questions and you're acting upon them as in conditions. Before you leave the house to go to work or go to shopping, your brain subconsciously, is it raining? It's a yes or no answer. If the answer is yes, then you'd probably take the clothes off the line. You may pack an umbrella. You may drive to work instead of riding your bike. So what we did there, even before you left the house, was invoke a condition. We said, if it is raining, then do those things. You could do all of those things. You could do one of them, two of them, whatever combination. If the condition was true, if the answer to the question, is it raining, was yes, then we did things. That's all the condition is. And that's all it is on our site too. A parallel, So on our site, we might do something like if the cart is $100, instead of if it is raining, if it is $100, then display a snippet. Then maybe offer a cart extra, which is a gift pack. Then maybe offer them free shipping, which you can't do until today, but I'll show you how to do that as of today. That's a condition, 100% analogous to the condition, is it raining? Of course, you can think of it the other way. Sometimes it's easier to think of the action, the part that comes after the then, rather than the if, rather than the condition itself. The simple act of waking up and getting out of bed is the then, is the action. And there are many conditions that may trigger this action. There are many questions where if the answer is yes, you will wake up and get out of bed. It may be your alarm clock goes off at 7 a.m. If it is 7 a.m., then wake up, get out of bed. If your baby is crying, then wake up and get out of bed. If you need to pee, then wake up, hopefully, get out of bed, hopefully. So again, now we've got 3 parameters. We've got 3 conditions with 1 action. Before we had 3 actions that resulted out of 1 condition. Here we've got 3 conditions or 3 parameters to 1 condition. And if any of them are true, then wake up, get out of bed. There's a condition straight away, first thing in the morning as you woke up. We can zoom in on that because, as we know, life is a little bit more complicated than simple yes or no answers. If we zoom in on the if it is 7 a.m., then wake up, get out of bed. Yeah, okay, but not quite, because I don't go to work on Sunday. I'd like to sleep in. So we modify that condition with a second parameter. On Sunday morning, we don't want to have to wake up and get out of bed at 7 a.m. So we have the concept of not. So yes, we'll wake up and get out of bed if it is 7 a.m., but not if it is Sunday. And again, what we've done is ask a question of the site, or not of the site, of ourselves. Is it 7 a.m. and is it not Sunday morning? The answer to that in total is yes. Both those things are true. It is 7 a.m., but it is not Sunday morning. Therefore, the action needs to be happen, waking up, getting out of bed. Again, we do that in our software. We think of the action first. You may want to display that snippet, a snippet that says, this child was not photographed. Please contact us if you'd like to book a retake. That's a snippet. Under what conditions do you want to display that? We want to display that if it's a fulfilled job, because fulfilled jobs need images. So all jobs that you post post-shoot, that you upload post-shoot that go to fulfill should have images, right? But we don't want to display that for all fulfill jobs. We only want to display that if it's a fulfill job and not if they have images. If it's a fulfill job and if it have images, we don't want to display that. We want to display that if it's a fulfill job and does not have images. Just like we want to get out of bed at 7 a.m., but if it's not Sunday morning. There, that's all I want to say on that subject. I hope for any of you that are a little bit uncomfortable with conditions that that may help you relax a little bit. Now, to be sure and to be honest, it gets a little bit more complicated in our control panel because you've got to know where to look, and that's half the challenge, knowing what those terminologies mean, because they're not everyday terminologies. And it's a challenge for us to describe our conditions in just a little 1 or 2 words that would fit in the control panel. So that is challenging, and you may need our help with that. But don't be afraid of the general concept of conditions. So we're going to start today looking at conditions again, and something that is new, applying them to delivery options. Now, I could have very simply not even had this webinar and said to you, delivery options now support conditions, leave it at that. And a lot of you would have just run with that, but I'm going to use 3 examples to show you. These are the 3 main things people have asked that they wanted conditional delivery options for. We're going to look at free or discounted delivery if the card is a certain value. In our example, it's going to be $100. If it's $100, then people will get free shipping. We're going to expand that or go a little bit further. The other reason people want conditional delivery options is the opposite of the first one is that we want to charge more for shipping heavy or bulky items, frames, mugs, rugs, drink bottles, whatever. You decide what is a heavy or bulky item, and the site will charge extra shipping for that. And the third example is a little bit more complicated, and that's why we're leaving it as our last example. We are going to change the shipping option on a given date. This is someone asked for this last year. They want the shipping to change. In our example, it's going to change from ship to school to ship to home automatically on a given date per job. So we're going to see how to do that one. Now, examples 2 and 3, I'll tell you now, already on our YouTube channel, I've already done training movies on example 2 and 3, and they're on our YouTube channel. So you can go back and look at them as well to revise. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to get started with the nitty-gritties. We can get rid of the slideshow, but here's my first point. Are there any questions before we get started?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Not so far.
Oakley dokley.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay, so I'm going to okay. So the first one we're going to look at. Now, you're going to notice through today that the shoot keys I use are paying homage to Las Vegas and the fact we can't be there. The shoot keys I'm going to use all have a Las Vegas theme to them. I've hacked the system to change the shoot keys, the access keys, to a Las Vegas theme. Don't try this at home. Okay. My first shoot key that I'm going to look at, my first subject, their shoot key is called Roulette, Mark's favourite game. And just a testimony as to how things are crazy in this world, quite randomly, this subject is called Virginia Richmond. My brother-in-law lives in Australia now, comes from Richmond, Virginia. That's a total coincidence. That's not was not meant to happen. But anyway, let's have a look at this one. Okay, I've kept it simple, just a few packages there. Okay, we'll add one to the cart and go to checkout. Okay, and we've got 2 regular shipping options, regular delivery, express delivery, $15 and $30 each. Okay, nothing special so far. Let's continue shopping. We'll add something more and something more again. Where the cart's now at $95. You can see at the top, we've got 2 items. We've got three copies in there, but 2 different items at $95. View the cart. We're now actually getting a snippet that says you're almost there, spend $100 or more to get free shipping. Why not add some of the bonus packages at the bottom? And now in the cart, we've got some bonus packages, which weren't there to begin with. When we check out, it's still, yes, no, that's right. When we check out, it is still at $15 and $30. Go back to the cart. I'm going to make the cart over $100 by simply adding an extra copy. Okay, the cart is now $130. That snippet disappeared. Check out. Now we're offering free regular delivery because the cart reached $100. The express delivery option doesn't change. Okay, how did we do that? Well, where would we begin? I think you can guess we've got a condition that is looking at the cart to see the value of the cart, and that condition we'll have a look at now. I'll go to my control panel, which I'm meant to have open. Okay, I've got a condition here, this one, cart $100. I've called it cart $100. It is a very simple condition. We've seen it before. A lot of people are already using this. We're saying for a given session, have a look at the cart. The value of the cart is $100. So let's go back to our banal explanation at the beginning. We're asking the site, is the cart value $100? If the cart value is $100, now it's a condition because we put the if in front of it. If the cart value is $100 or more, this condition comes true. Let's then see where we use it. When we go to TS admin, as you know, we have delivery option sets. I have one I've called set 5. Here are the 3 delivery options in this set and a new column called conditions. Now, starting at the bottom, the express delivery option, we want that to always display. Whether they spend $100 or $1,000 or $2, they're always going to have that option. Therefore, no condition. No condition against the option, it always gets shown. The free delivery option, we've given a code free regular delivery. We've put in the condition cart $100. That option will only get presented when this condition, cart $100, is true. When that one is displayed, we want the regular one, that one, the second one, not to be displayed. We don't want both of them there at the same time. It makes no sense. So we put the inverse of cart 100 in here. We do the inverse by negative cart 100, negative cart $100. So do you understand what I've done there? That condition, cart $100, goes against the free delivery option. The inverse of that goes against the one that it replaces, negative cart $100. We haven't got a condition called cart $100. We just put a negative in front of here, a minus sign in front of it, and it acts the opposite of that. So negative cart $100 is true when the cart is less than $100. Then we upload the job as per normal. We go into TSIOS and it's this one. And in the checkout, you select your delivery option. Okay, which was that one, set 5 cart. Now, I want to alert you to these little refresh buttons at the back. If you're uploading a job the first time with a particular condition, not a problem, that delivery option set gets uploaded. If you're modifying something that's already there, you come in here and you hit refresh, this little refresh thing, and then hit upload. And it saves you having to refresh the whole job, refresh the whole offer. So I'll just say that again. If you make changes to a delivery option set and it's already selected for your job, you don't have to upload the whole thing again and refresh offer, refresh job. Just come in here, click that refresh icon, and then hit upload. And it does that in an instant, as opposed to a much longer refresh process when you refresh a job or refresh the offer. So really, that's quite simple. I hope for that example, I hope everyone gets it. Is there any questions on what we've done here or in TSIOS or the condition itself?
No, there's not. I hope my question box is working correctly.
Okay. Could someone just ask or put something in the question box so Mark can verify that he's working correctly?
We may have tons of questions and I don't see them, but I don't think there are. I'll let you know if there are.
I can look too, just I'll have a quick look.
Do you see any?
Ashley is typing a question. I am typing. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm seeing the questions, but they're not. Yep.
Looks working to me. Yeah. Okay. Mark, can you see this? I can see them. It's just not a very good camera flow, Mark, is it? It's you only sort of see one question at a time. I can't seem to expand it. Maybe you can play with that.
Oh, I have it expanded, so I'm seeing all of it. Yes, and cool. I've got five people now that have confirmed that the question box is working.
All right, so
but there's no actual questions.
I saw a question in there that I'll answer. I think Scott asked, when will this be available? We'll do it after next week's meeting, because then we'll have covered all the new stuff. We could, in theory, do it straight away, but let's wait till next week. I'll just be more comfortable with it. What you will need is obviously to let us know that you want your site updated, and we will update your site. But you will also need to download the apps that we'll put up because of this. See, TS admin has to change because it needs this column. And there's one or two new things in Neopack as well. So you'll need to just, it's still a 4.8. We're not making this a 4.9. They're very minor changes. Basically, you need to have the new TS admin so that your database, your timestamp database, has the conditions column in the delivery options table, basically, technically. So yeah, straight after next week's meeting, we'll be able to start updating you. All right. We're good so far. Let us look at another example. I'll just clear my cart here. Remove. Oh, what have I done? Remove. Yeah, I've timed it. Okay. Oh, yes. Here's another shoot key. Another Las Vegas themed shoot key. Venetian. Happens to be Mark's favourite hotel. Certainly his favourite bar in that hotel. Okay. Here we've got, just again to keep things simple, I've got a normal package and a heavy package. Okay. The heavy package has got heavy stuff. Not even sure what the heavy stuff is, but it has it. The normal package does not. Let me order the normal package. Go to the cart, check out. Okay, and we have two regular shipping methods at $10 and $20 each. Just keep that figure in mind. Continue shopping. Add what we've designated as the heavy package, what we're saying is a heavy package. Maybe it's got a mug in there. Let's go to the cart, check out. The delivery options have changed. The delivery options now say bulky, regular delivery, bulky items, express shipping. And instead of $10 and $20, it's $18 and $36. How did we do that one? That's a little bit more complicated. Okay. First, we'll do this one the other way around. First, how did it know that the heavy package was indeed a heavy package? Quite simply, we're going to tell it. We're going to do something in our offer to say that the heavy package is indeed heavy. I'll go to TS admin and go to my offers. There are different ways to approach this and starting at different directions. This time I'll do it through the offer first. It is that one. They're my two packages, the normal and the heavy. Okay. What we do is in the code, the package code, just put something in there to signify that that's a heavy package, that has something in it like mugs or whatever. It won't go through and look at your products and decide there. You've got to tell it which one is the heavy. I've put in mine, instead of PK2, which is what I normally would call things, I've made it PK2 $HVY. It doesn't matter what you put in there. You could have put hashtag, pound symbol, HVY. You could have just put HV. It doesn't matter what you put in there. Just put in there. I advise that you just use something that's obvious so that you can quickly see that that's a heavy package, that other operators know about it if they're coming in and having a look. Something that's not going to get confused with a package name or is not going to be part of your package codes. So I figured $HVY, I'm not going to use that anywhere else. So I've made my package, called it, I put the code, PK2 $HVY. Then we can have a condition that looks for the presence of that string, $HVY. I'll go back to the conditions. I have a condition called heavy one. Heavy one, heavy items in the cart. Okay, we've actually seen this condition before. And again, our YouTube channel, our series of tutorials on there on conditions, movie 2, I think, is using these conditions to check if there's digital products in the cart, and then it displays a snippet. So here, again, for a given session, look in the cart, items in the cart where the package code is. In our case, we're going to look for things in the cart where the package code contains $HVY. And it will kick in when there's at least one. We could have kicked it in when there's 2 or 3, but ultimately we want to charge extra shipping even if there's just one copy of that package in the cart. So we put out 1 in there. From 1, you can leave the 2 blank. So as soon as there's 1, this condition is true. Put this another way, we are asking a question of the site. Are there items in the cart where the package code contains $HVY? Ask that as a condition. If the cart has items in the cart where the package code contains HVY, that condition is now true. The answer is yes. And you can guess we go to the delivery option set in TS Admin. And it was this one, set 3, and there's my delivery options. Overall, we've got 4 options in that set. We've got the 2 normal ones and we've got the 2 bulky ones. We want the 2 bulky ones to show when that condition is true, when the cart has something in it with a package code $HVY. So we enter the condition in there, heavy 1. That's the name of our condition. Don't make typos, heavy 1. The other 2 appear when the condition is not true, the inverse. So rather than make another condition called heavy 0 and make it the inverse, we can just put in negative heavy 1 in there. It's the contrary of the 2 that follow. That is actually new. The fact that we can put in negative condition here and elsewhere in TS Admin against your package or against the price code, price list, that's new. So negative heavy 1, when the cart doesn't have $HVY, delivery options 1 and 2 will display. When heavy 1 is true, when the cart does have packages in there, $HVY in their code, it displays these 2. Simple as that. And it's smart enough to go back and forth. For example, if I go back to my cart and remove the heavy option and then go back to checkout, it's reverted back to the regular delivery. And likewise, if I went, as we saw, now add a heavy item, it's dynamic. The delivery options will change accordingly. So that, I think, that's been asked for a lot, the fact that the ability to charge more for bulky items. Easy peasy. You just need to go through your offers, and append their codes with some sequence of characters that will mean something to you. Don't make it too long, and then make a condition that looks for the presence of those characters, $HVY. A more realistic example is in this offer. It's a more package PK5, $HVY there. There's a mug there for PK8. PK9A is a water bottle. And PK12 is frames. So for each of the packages that contain a heavy item, we've gone through and marked that package code somehow to signify that. That's it for that one too. Again, that exact example is on our website, on the YouTube channel. If you want to go have a look at this example again in a more deliberate fashion, by all means, go ahead and do that. So I will pause. Any questions on using it in this manner?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. A customer is just wanting to make sure, is that new negative condition available anywhere the conditions are used?
Yes. I've also used
particular places.
I've also used it in, let me go back to my workspace. There's places where I've used it against a package. I can't remember now.
Yep, right there.
There, for example.
Okay, so it can be used anywhere conditions are being used. Negative condition is now going to be a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. To be honest, I haven't tried it in here, but there's no reason if you make an extra package and have a negative in there that it that it won't work. It's just because it's the same theory. It's the same basis.
Okay, cool. Yep, that's it.
Yep, good. That saves having, doubling up on your conditions just to make them a negative, just to make a negative version of a condition that already exists. Okay, we move on. Okay. The last example of using conditional delivery options. We go back to here and remove that. Order for another. I'll enter a different key. Again, Las Vegas themed. You remember last time we were there, we went out for a Timestone pizza at Grimaldi's. Okay, this one's interesting. Have a read of that. Hello, Jennifer. That's her name, Jennifer Grimaldi, as it happens. If you order before midnight on Friday the 14th, before midnight, Friday 14th of May 2021, your order will go back to the school free of charge. Otherwise, it's if you order after that date, they'll be shipped to your home. And we aren't going to, and that'll happen automatically. We aren't going to go in and pause the job and change the delivery option method or anything. It'll just happen automatically on that date. So there's two things that probably get you excited. The fact that it can do that, and the fact that you're looking at that snippet where it seems to have variable data. It's got her name in it, and it's got some sort of arbitrary date that's actually come from the job. We'll come back to the snippet. Let me add this package to the cart, because what's the date today? It's not the 14th of May, is it? 12th. It is the 12th, isn't it? Yes. For some of us. For some of you, it's still the 11th. Add it to the cart. View the cart. Check out. And there's only one delivery method. And because there's only one, it's pre-checked. That too is a small nuance that is new. A couple of versions ago of iOS, even if there was just one option, it was unchecked and the customer had to check it, which is a bit ridiculous. So now if there is only one option, it just pre-checks it for them. So yeah, that's free delivery back to the school. So how did we do it to this point? Because this one's a bit trickier. You'll appreciate this one's a bit trickier to show, because we're going to wait for a change of date for something to happen, and on the 14th of May. So unless we all want to hang around until Saturday, which I'm sure you don't want to do, we're not going to see that result. So I've got to do a little bit of fancy-pantsy stuff to show it. So let's see, how did we get to this point? Let's have a look at the condition, the delivery option set. It is date, that one there. Oh, that's the offer, I beg your pardon. Delivery option set is that one, set 4. Got 3 options. We only saw one. We only saw this one, free delivery back to school, because the date hadn't been reached. Once we do get to the 14th of May, that one's going to disappear and this one's going to appear. And you can see we've got in there a condition called order by one. Again, the condition name doesn't matter, but let's have a look at what that condition is, and then we need to look at this particular job. Conditions, order by one. This is relatively new, this condition. Job, for a given job, the details or the data of that job, where it says details, think of the data and the fields. Let's have a look at, in that job, a job date field. We'll have a closer look at that in a minute. Let's have a look at the field in that job. That's a date field. And then what we'll do is we'll compare the site date. We'll compare the real date, the date it happens to be, like today it's the 12th, the 11th for you guys. And we're going to compare the site date, which is the date the person's ordering, against a date that is in our job date field. Okay, take a deep breath. Let's expand on that. I'm going to open the particular job that that shoot key comes from. Okay, you know we've got job fields or file fields, we've got folder fields, we've got subject fields. What we're talking about here are job fields. Have a look in my job fields. There's the job key up there. I've got a year. I've got a school name. I've got a field called order by date. And it's a field. This is the important bit. This is the really important bit. That field type is a date. You know, we can have field types that are a type of an integer or an email, first name, last name. This is, if we go to edit fields, file fields, there it is there, and see its type is date. That's the important bit. That's what that condition is looking for. It's looking for this date field called order by date. And we put a date in there. We put the date in there. We talked about the 14th of May. So you just enter that 14/05/2021. Now, Americans and Canadians, fear not. You enter the date in your format. So here in Australia and most of the world, we use day, month, or day, month, year. You guys would enter that date as 05/14/2021. Okay, it will know that you're in America and flip it around. So enter the date in your preferred, your system format, whatever your computer is set to, which will vary depending on what country you're in. We've also got a field in there, a text field called order by text, and we'll come to that in a minute. So that's the important bit. We've put the date in there, the 14th of May, 2021. The condition, we've said this condition, look for a job date field, look for a job date field called order by date, and that's what our field was called. Look at the date that's in that field and compare it to what the date is right now for our site. And we could have it starting 2 days before, 1 day before, or right on that date. If you want it to start, if you want that condition to kick in right on that date, leave that to 0. If you want it to end on a certain date, put something in there. I put in 10,000. So that condition is going to be true as soon as the 14th of May, as soon as the stroke of midnight, or 12:01, so it's at midnight, 1 second past midnight on the 14th of May. That condition then becomes true and will continue to be true for 10,000 days later. Now, as I said, this is a hard one to show you what happens when we reach that date because we'd have to sit around here for a couple of days. I can trick it. We can see what would have happened by simply changing the date. Let's make this the 14th of April. Now, I don't know if 14th of April was a Friday. I don't think it was. If someone wants to quickly look at that for me. But I'm also going to put that description in there. Not that it will matter. Okay, so let's see what would happen when we reach that date. We're not going to wait until that date is reached for real. We're going to just look at a job where that date was already reached. That's what we're simulating here. We'll go to TSIOS and refresh. We've changed the job data, so we need to refresh the job. Have we changed the offer? No. So we'll hit upload. I will, in preparation. Okay. Order for her again. See, now that snippet is gone because now we're after the 14th of April. That date has been well and truly reached and surpassed. So that snippet is gone for a start. We hit add to cart, view the cart, check out, and now it's a ship to home method. We didn't even touch the delivery options. We didn't refresh the offer. We didn't change offer because that date was reached. The delivery options kicked in. The conditional delivery options kicked in, and we're now seeing the home delivery method. That's probably it for that one too. Like I said, this explanation, step by step, this tutorial, you can watch on our YouTube channel if you want to have a look at it again. Are there any questions or comments on this? I'll come back to the snippet in a minute because you want to know about that.
This may or may not be on this, but somebody's wondering if you can conditionally change from download as pre-orders to download to fulfill, if that's possible now or will be.
It's not possible now. I don't know if it will be.
Okay.
Yep.
And several people like this a lot.
So yeah, because it's a condition that's worth investing some time in. Understanding this can be quite useful. You can use it in lots of other ways, and we may look at another example next week, or if I think of examples, we can do a whole webinar on different examples of using it. You could use it to expire your jobs, in a sense, when a date is reached. This job date thing, having things happen at the flip of a date, is very useful. Here's just one example of using the job date field. You can use it to suddenly display Mother's Day packages. You've seen that example I've used to do a promotion. So when a date arrives, your offer changes to show special packages for Christmas or special packages for Mother's Day. And then a certain days afterwards, it removes those packages. Again, we'll do that with the job date field condition. It's a really powerful condition, and this is an example of using it with delivery options. Okay, I want to show you something. This will make you laugh. This is going to make some of you laugh. There's some of you older people in the audience, and I put myself in that category, will remember 1999. I'm talking about the year, not the song by Prince. Yeah. And in leading up to the year 2000, there was a lot of talk about the Y2k bug. The fact that when we clicked over to the new millennium, a lot of computer softwares, computer systems wouldn't be able to cope with the fact that it wasn't we weren't in the 20th century anymore, and things would break, and there was fear that planes would fall out of the sky and all sorts of things would happen. Most of those things did not happen. Most of it was an upbeat problem that was never there in the first place, but some of it didn't happen because the companies in question took action. A very real example was here in Australia. You recall in the year 2000, the Olympics, the best Olympics ever, were in Sydney, and Qantas had to start taking bookings way before year 2000, bookings for people coming, teams coming, and then leaving, and their computer systems couldn't handle a date of 2000, so they didn't get Peter and Richard in, but they got whoever they got to fix up their systems to handle the changes of date. There's one company that didn't do anything about Y2K, and you're looking at it. Here's a Y2K bug. If you put in that date like this, 14/05/21, it goes to 1921, not 2021. That is a very simple and banal example of a Y2K bug. Quite simply. I did, when I was doing this show, Peter, and we decided not to fix it so that I could show you this bug and maybe get a giggle out of it. All right, jokes aside. So for now, put in 2021. Don't just put in 21 because you'll end up back in the last century. Let's have a look at that snippet, because that snippet leads us into the next segment of the webinar, which is variable data and snippets. Okay. Did we get any comments about our Y2K bug, Mark?
Not specifically, but I have a question. With the date change, you could do different delivery options.
Yes.
But there's still going to be, you could put in there a late order fee after a certain date.
How do you put in a late order fee?
Well, you could charge more for the delivery option.
Yeah.
I guess this is my point, is even if you charge more for it's still not going to change the verbiage on the receipt from shipping to late fee. There is no place to put an extra fee, a surcharge.
No, there's no condition, there's no mechanism to say if a condition is true, add a late fee. The only thing you could do is instead of having that school, you'd have regular home delivery at whatever price, $10, express at $20, and then with your condition, have another one that's $15, another one that's $25, so it flips to the more expensive delivery options on the given date. But it wouldn't expressly say you've been charged a late fee. The shipping would just be more expensive.
Yeah,
and here the shipping went from 0 to 10. You could think that way.
Right. So you could in fact increase the price of the shipping. It just wouldn't be listed as a late fee.
No.
And another customer points out that you can use you'll be able to use the conditions to automatically increase package prices in your offer after a certain date.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. You could
priceless, yeah.
You could put in a second
priceless,
price, yeah. Instead of a third free, whatever. You could have order by one there, and change the price of PK1 from 45 to 50, and then each package will be more expensive. Yeah, there are ways to charge more after a certain date, but a blanket late fee, no. A simple late fee, no. You can do it by changing the prices of the packages, changing the prices of the shipping options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's it.
That's it. Okay. Let me try and find that snippet. Okay. We leave delivery options and we'll look at variable snippets. That snippet that you saw said hello at shoot name if you order before midnight at job.jobvalue.orderbytext. We're going to come to this part of it, the first part, at job.jobvalue. Order by text was the field name. If you'll remember, when in the job, we had a text field, job field of type text, order by text. That's where it pulled that date from. That's where we saw Friday, the 14th of May in the first instance. The syntax for it is at job.jobvalue and at shoot name up there. So that's by way of a brief and rough introduction to the world of codes in snippets. The at codes are not exactly what you're used to from the apps. They can't be, because a job in Neopack is an enclosed entity. Your website, there's things like sessions, what sort of job is uploaded, different bits of information are there, different types of information are there, depending on your job type, what screen you're in, what sort of key you've entered. So the at codes can't be exactly the same. We have to give it context. Now, fear not, I have already prepared the document that lists at codes in snippets. I will drop this into, I think I can send this to you through their webinar software. It is also online in our knowledge base, and it lists a lot of at codes, and they aren't all of them, but they're the ones that I thought are going to be the most useful. The great big library of things that are on your site is enormous, and you can get to just about all of them by at codes, but they're useless, they're meaningless. So I've grouped them according to sort of what level and how you might use them. And so let's put some of them into play. Not going to go through all of them. We're only going to spend a few minutes on these because they don't need much explanation. But then we're going to move into some creative uses for them, which you may not think about straight away. Let's open a particular job. And which one is it? Okay. Hard Rock. Okay, I've uploaded a job without any packages. Okay, quite simply. So therefore, I've left a lot of space to make a snippet, and with these at codes. But we're ordering for this guy, Stefan Montfort, and the job in question is, let's go there. My job, I've just called it VS for various snippets general. We'll keep that in mind too, because we'll be able to get the job name into that snippet. Okay, let's make a snippet. Cancel. I may have already done one. If not, we'll start a new one. Oh, this one's got a lot, so let's get rid of all that. We'll use this one, and we'll get rid of the conditions so it appears. Right. Let me think. I want to put a condition in there, so we'll only end up seeing this for this particular job. Job details, we'll do the job name contains, what was my job name? VS-general. So I'm going to put general in there. okay, right now, what have I done? I'm going to make this snippet. I want to see this only in one particular job for now. So I've given it a condition that says I only show this snippet when the job name contains the letters general, because I don't want it polluting my other examples. So that's just another example. If you want to make a quick snippet and only test it on a particular job so your customers don't see it, just use this condition against your snippet. All right, so let's have a look at that document to begin with. To display the access key is quite simple. That's one of the things you may want to show, but possibly not. Let's see if I can get these two screens. It's just @shoot key. This is the shoot level data is primary data. That's always going to be there. So those three shoot keys are always going to be there. And if I just put in @shoot name, we'll put a few more in there while we're there. @shoot name, that gives us the access key. @shoot key gives us the access key. We can put in @shoot name. Usually defaults to this. Stefan. If it's a subject key, it usually defaults to the subject's name. This is what we call the shoot name. At the top where it says you are ordering for, whatever you're getting up there is the shoot name. So let's go back to this snippet. We got @shoot name. It's actually what we call the friendly version. If you may remember from last year, we talked about how we can do a friendly version of this in your fields. You can go edit fields as tags, and there's a friendly version. So instead of putting in @name, you could have put in something else in here, and that's what gets displayed. Most people aren't going to use that. Most people don't use that. But if you leave it at blank, it will just use first name, last name for a subject key. If you enter a job key, the shoot name is actually the job key. So it's a little bit different, as I said, depending on what sort of key you're using. But in our example, and for the most cases, @shoot name will do what you want, and it will get Stefan Morton up there. The job is something else people will want. Move that over. So the job now is not primary level data. It's job level data. Therefore, we can't just put @job name, which is what you would do in the apps. So we would do @job to tell the site, this is now job level data, then job name. Then a job friendly name, that is different. We'll put that in now and have a look. The job key, job tags. This is the interesting one. We've seen this one. We just saw this one. @job value dot job field. Okay, that one is what we saw in the previous snippet where it pulled from the order by date text field. So this particular job, let's have a look at it. Do I have one? Oh yeah, I've got a field in there called go live to, where I've put Tuesday 18th of May for whatever reason. I must be preparing something else to show you maybe next week. So go live to. So if I want to see the contents of that field, go live to, it's @job. Okay, now at that job level, we want to see a value of that job value of the value of a field. I can't type job value. And what was it called? Go live to. This is, yeah, that's right. So that particular @code is going to retrieve whatever data is in the field, the job field called go live to. Season code, etc., etc. Okay, I'll let you play with them. We'll come back to one more later. What else would we want to display? Remember, the shoot name isn't necessarily the subject's first name, but it probably is. But if the subject's name, if we want just the first name, have a look down here. Subject level data. @shoot value. @shoot value dot first name. That's the same as doing @first name in Neopack. And you can do the same with ID. And importantly, this one you're going to use. This one you're going to end up wanting to use. @shoot value field name. If we've got a particular field, any subject field, and we want that in a snippet, that's what you would do. Have I got one? Let me have a look. All right, we'll just put, who are we doing? We're doing Hard Rock. We'll put homeroom in there, 10B. So if I want to display that particular field, the value 10B for homeroom for this subject, we would be putting in at, what are we, shoot value dot homeroom. We can put in the home folder. The home folder is simple, at folder dot name, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to do all of them. Let's just look at these because you get the idea. I think you're going to get the idea very quickly. So save. Now, I made a modification to that job, so I need to refresh it. So I added data. Where is it? In fact, it's not that one. It is general. Okay, refresh. Upload. Are you with me so far, guys? Do you like what you're seeing so far? This is where we miss being in a room. We can just yell out to each other. Mark, you still with us?
Yep.
Good.
Yep, and we're getting some likes.
We're getting some likes. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Here's something you're going to have to, unfortunately, deal with. When you make snippets or modify them, and in my case, remember, I modified it. What was my snippet called? I forgot. Do you remember, Mark?
It was in the third group. Yeah, VerSnip.
Yeah, I don't need to know. Okay. When you make a modification to the snippet, and you're going to be doing this in your testing going back and forth, this is one of those things that's sort of independent to us. I mean, it writes it to the server, but your browser isn't going to know that. So this is an example, and there's very few of them left. This is an example where you want to drop your cache or your cookies to see your changes. So in Chrome, the quickest way is probably to come in here, go cookies, remove, then refresh. And now when we go Hard Rock, hopefully we will see that snippet. Yes. Okay. So we've seen Hard Rock was the access key. We put in at whatever it was at. So look, I've forgotten. Log myself out by dropping cookies. At shoot key. So at shoot key, at shoot name, at job name, at job.friendly name. Here's what was in that field. Here's what was in the that field. Stefan was at shoot value.firstname, and this was the homeroom. I've got to check why it's put 2 in there. Well, it's got 10A and 10B. Oh, I know why. That was a bad example. Because we put in to grab the homeroom, but he's actually in 10A. That's the folder. That's the at folder.name. That's the at shoot value.shoot field, the subject field. So we did at shoot value.homeroom. It's just a very bad example on my behalf. At shoot value.homeroom got the value from the homeroom field, which I put in 10B. His folder at folder.name is 10A. That's why it's not a bug. That's done exactly the right thing. You with me so far? Yeah. Just going to go a little bit further with this. There was a reason I put in friendly name at job friendly name, because the friendly name, what is that? It's the name that's in here, because you know you can put in something else in here instead. And you may want to do that because if your job names may be technical, they may be a series of numbers and codes that mean nothing to the person. So you could put in a friendly name in here, like Las Vegas High. Okay, and that's what the at code, at friendly name would give you. Okay, so I would need to refresh this. I've got to think. I feel I would have to drop the cookies, but let me have a look. Yeah. This doesn't work on my next example. I've already done it, so save us some time. Yeah, I'm going to have to drop the cache on that one, but that's what we call friendly name for the job. The friendly name for a job is what... I changed the wrong one. That's why it didn't work. I should change this one, not that one. That's events. Anyway, I've got a better example for it coming up anyway. Now, the job name is one that people ask for a lot to be used. But before we leave this particular one, there is another subject in this job, and I'll change, just to show you the folder bit works, I'll change from Hard Rock to a different key, McCarran. And you see her information has changed because she's in a different folder. Okay, she's in 10B, the other one was in 10A. And obviously her name is different. Okay, so that's an introduction. You're going to get that PDF and you're going to go to Knowledge Base and look at that document and have a play with this, but let me show you some more creative uses. Let's start with the job name, not that a creative use, but one of the problems people have, I'm told, correct me if I'm wrong, people who do identify ordering or even like broadcast ordering, they may order in the wrong job, or they enter one key for a particular school to start their identifying order, and they order for all three of their kids in that one key, with that one key in that one job, and two of their three kids don't even attend that school. That is a problem. Is that a problem? Or am I overstating the problem?
No, that is a problem.
That is
definitely.
All right. So let's have a look how we've used this to hopefully limit that problem. I have got an identified job, which by an amazing coincidence, its key is Las Vegas. I've got a snippet. Important, you are ordering for the school, Winterfell High School. If your child does not attend this school, stop. Do not proceed with your order. You could obviously put whatever you want in that snippet and really, go to town and put in some abusive language if you want. Let's have a look, and hopefully just putting that straight up will help. Let's have a look at this snippet, because look what's down the corner. Down the corner, I've just put in some information in small light writing for our own benefit for when we look at the snippet. Let's have a look at the snippet. Here we are, I'm going for time. Okay, good. Snippets and identify welcome. Okay, so you can see that there? Okay. Let's start at the bottom corner. I've got @job.jobname, and then I've got @job.friendlyname. Okay. The job name is identify. That's what the job's name is. But the job friendly name is something else. As I was showing you, the job friendly, here it is here, that's the friendly name. 2021 LVHS fall, whereas the job name is actually simply called identify. So that's an example of how you could use @job.friendlyname. But even that may not be right. I don't actually like myself the idea of changing the names in here to friendly names, because you don't know what the real job name is. It's a little bit hidden. Like, I'd forgotten. I didn't even know what this job was. I thought, I don't have a job called 2021 LVH. Then I remembered that this was just a friendly name. I think probably a better way is something you've been doing probably a long time on your templates. It's just you have a school name field. Have a school name field in your job. And I do. If I open that particular job, see, I've got a field called school name, and I've put in Winterfell High School. That's the real name of the school. It works better than the job name because the job name is technical. The job name may say Winterfell High School 2021. And that's the 2021 seems superfluous. So anyway, you've probably already used school name field or something like that on your jobs. Okay, so why not pull that into your snippet instead? And we do that with @job, as we saw, @job.jobvalue.schoolname. And that's how we're seeing Winterfell High School. We're not seeing the real job name, which in my case was called Identify. We're not seeing the friendly name, which I'm not a big fan of. I think that's useful, and hopefully that will stop some of those errors people are seeing. We can go a little bit further. Let's order for one of the kids. Oops. Whoops. Not me. Oh, come on. What am I doing here? Herman. That'll do. Herman Munster. Yeah, he'll do. Okay. On the next page, we've got another snippet. It says, you are ordering for Herman Munster, room 12, year 7 at Winterfell High School. If Herman does not attend this school, stop. You're silly. Do not proceed with this order. You can't have this on that first page, on the login page, because they haven't entered the information there yet. Better putting it here. Let's have a look at this snippet. While we're here, though, we'll order for, we'll go back and order a family, the Munsters. Did Herman have siblings? I don't remember, but we'll just say Herman and his sister. Whoops. Okay. You're ordering for Herman and his sister, Munsters. If the Minsters are typo, does not attend this school, stop. Do not proceed with your order. So hopefully this too, those combination of things, one or the other or both, can help. Let's have a look at this snippet. It's the identify shop. Okay. @identify subject.first name, @identify subject.last name, @identify. We can't just put @subject.name, whatever it is for subject, because with identify ordering, you don't have subjects yet. You've just got that free data that the parent is putting in. They only become subjects later when you identify them in Neopack. So going back to the PDF, there are special codes when you're identifying ordering, and they're at the bottom. So to get the first name that they put in that first window, is @identify.subject.firstname, remembering that they're not really subjects at that point. That's how you put in the folder that came with that drop down, etc. So they're the fields that are available to you when identifying ordering, and we have put them into that snippet. That's probably it for this part of snippets and variable data. I'm going to show you a couple more examples of some creative uses, but any questions on that? In general terms, with the snippets and the data, give us examples of how you may use it, identify ordering, whatever, because the next couple of things I'm going to show you are a little bit more interesting, but quite different. Anything, Mark?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Somebody wants to know if these codes are going to be available in order headers. I would say no, but you go ahead and fulfill, order headers.
Well, remember, all these are doing is showing you, data like a job name, subject name, that stuff that's in your job already that gets uploaded. We've got this information because it got uploaded from your job, and before now you couldn't show that in your snippets. But when an order downloads, it's there as part of your timestone data.
Right, so that they would not use the syntax you're showing here. They would use the regular keys.
Absolutely. Once you're in the apps, fulfill, Neopack, etc., you use your regular codes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Somebody points out that when you kill your cookies, that kills your cookies to the control panel too, and they were wondering if there was some way we could make those separate cookies.
I'm going to guess who that person was. No. Possible. I'll if you get some sort of weird technical answer in there, that's Peter chipping in. But not, no, it doesn't do that now. You can do certainly, I suggest doing what I do. I've got a little text expander. So rather than, I just come back in here and just go dot, 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 bang, and it enters my credentials. I don't have to remember them because our password's bloody long. And you're back in. That's what I would suggest in the short term. I use that thing quite a lot. You've probably noticed. It's called Text Expander. It's not a bad thing to use whenever you're using passwords, because if someone's using a keylogger, someone hacks your computer and using a keylogger, and they're going, in my case, all they're going to see is ZXM, whatever my combination things are. And in Text Expander, I've coded ZXM to enter username, hit the tab key, then enter the password and go. That means a keylogger is only ever going to retrieve ZXM. They're not ever going to see me typing my password. So not a bad tool. That's what I do. It's a pain. Believe me, it's a pain. I know it's a pain to have to do that. If we come up with a way where you don't even have to kill the cookies for the snippets, there are far less things you have to do now to kill the cookies. A lot of people do it out of habit and because they're not sure and they're not seeing the changes, but there's far less things you have to do. TSIOS itself, when you hit upload for a refresh or something, that upload button at the end of it sends a refresh command at the server to refresh there, which is good because that's something you guys can't reach. But there's nothing we can do like in a browser in a URL to drop cookies. That would be such a huge security risk that, it's just not allowed. So therefore, you have to do it manually. There's nothing we can do to drop your cache and your cookies in your browser programmatically. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, and one person wants to know why when they're working with conditions and they put something in the dropdown or in the data fields and click save and go back to their condition, it's gone. And they have to re-enter it. And then when they save it, it's there.
I'm glad the webcam is not on, because if you could have lip read, you would have seen the word I just muttered. Yes, I agree, guys. We fixed it in some places. I think in the contains, it still doesn't save. I think in some places it saves now. Some things like the quantities when you're putting a 1 in. If Mark, you can remind me, and I will attend to that.
Okay. All right. And this last one, I'm not entirely sure where they're talking about the CSS, but in a snippet with the CSS, go back to a snippet of, open one of those snippets.
Oh, sorry.
One of the virtual.
Okay.
All right.
Up here?
In the class, yeah.
I've never done anything there, to be honest. I would just be theorizing. Okay. Yeah.
One person was wondering whether the new @ codes, like a job value dot school colors, would bring in.
No, it's not. The @ codes are simply retrieving data that's in your site that you uploaded. It's not doing anything hooky like that.
Okay.
In fact, one thing I needed to point out to you that I didn't, it's pulling text data. Like if this school name field was a logo, that's not going to work. It's pulling text fields. These fields, when it pulls data from the fields in your job, be they subject or job fields or whatever, it's text data. You're not going to import an image onto this template, if we want to call it that, in the same way you would do with the apps. If you need to put an image in, we do that with the tools there. And that can have variable data if you're calling in a href, if you're linking to an uploaded image, sure, and you're going to see that shortly, but you can't pull in graphics fields. That's by the bys too. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Yep. All right. I wanted to show you sort of a use of a snippet, but just a little thing I thought of. A lot of people, we were talking about Identify, who are doing Identify ordering or any sort of pre-ordering, the day before, the night before photography, or even the morning before photography, they pause the job. They pause the job and download the orders, and then the job stays paused while they're working on the images, doing all the stuff in the studio and the lab before they repost that job so people can reorder with the images. That's fine. I assume if you're in the room, you'd be nodding. A lot of people do that. In that dead period, that period where you've paused the job, but before you've re-uploaded it with the images, if people use their personal subject keys now, they get a little toasty down the bottom, little messages saying job key, shoot key not currently available, something like that. Are you all nodding? Nodding? I wish I could see you guys. I miss you. I think there's a nicer way of doing that now. Let's go back to this particular job. Not this job. We'll go to, it can be this job. No, hang on. Let me think of what I've done. No, we'll go back to this job. Okay. Let's say I've downloaded all my orders. The job's going to be in the lab for a few days and for another week maybe before we can repost the images. In the meantime, even though you may tell people when you give out their shoot key, by whatever method you're handing out a shoot key, hang on until, I don't know, arbitrarily Tuesday the 18th of May before your images are ready, some people are going to go to the site, put in their key straight away, and it's not going to work. And then they're going to ring you and say, how come I can't see my photos? And you remind them that you told them they're not going to be ready for another week. There's a better way than pausing the job. This particular job, what I'm going to do is, in here. Sorry, I've got to take my breath. I'm going to change the offer. I'm going to change it to another offer called pause job. So rather than pausing the job in here, doing that, which a lot of people do, or having the job expire, and then you've got to reload it, I'm changing to an offer called pause job. Has no packages, stops them ordering, therefore, quite simply. If I look, I'll show you that that offer. That offer, I've made it in star because I want it available for every single job I've got, not one single package in it. Okay. When I then go to use that key, a key for that job, I've now had my photography taken, I've got that key, I enter it. Forget this because I didn't turn off that snippet. Instead of seeing a little toasty down the corner that only stays up for 5 seconds and people miss it, have a look at that. Isn't that cool? We're preparing Stefan's images. They'll be ready Tuesday, the 18th of May. Please come back then. I want to make that look nicer because I think that was a good thing. So we'll come back to it. I want to get rid of that snippet, this one that we were just playing with. I'm just going to hide it by doing that. So now it's only going to, that variable snippet we're playing with will only show if my job contains all those X's. None of them do, so it's never going to show. Come back to here, and like I said, we've got to do this because we made a change to a snippet. Our browser won't know. Okay, so hard rock, wasn't it? Okay. And if I put in the other key, someone else goes on, Ingrid, I think her name was. Her key happens to be McCarran. We're preparing Ingrid's images. We've achieved exactly the same thing, but without pausing the job. We've got a much nicer message, and we can tell them right here when it's going to be available. And you know how we do that now. Our snippet is looking at this field, go live to, and that's where we got Tuesday, 18th of May. Have the message looking however you want. I'd love if I could get an animated GIF where those dots would scroll, a bit like when you order Uber Eats. Just a little side use of variable data and snippets, side use of, just being creative. Any comments on that? Is that something you might use?
nothing showing up yet, but I think it is something that could be very well used. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. People are saying nice.
Yeah, I reckon it's one of those little things which I think go a long way. And if it stops a few people per job ringing saying, "How come my key's not working?" Good. Yep.
And that's just changing the offer.
Yeah, all we did was change the offer
And refresh the offer, and then when it goes live, it changes the
got
offer
no
back.
packages, so
Yep, very nice. That people are liking that.
yeah, I reckon it's a beauty. I took the afternoon off when I thought about that. All right. Okay, we're on the home stretch now. I'm just going to tease you with a few things and talk about them either next week or in a separate webinar altogether. Still to do with variable snippets and creative uses of them that I'm sure you may not think of. Consider doing an event type job. I'm thinking like a graduation perhaps, or any sort of job where you've got portraits of a child, of somebody, so they've got their own shoot key, but then you're taking a whole lot of random action shots. Could be action sports shots. At a graduation, it could be the action shot when they're getting the certificate from the dean of the faculty. Other shots that don't really necessarily, as a group, don't belong to any particular one subject, but you want them to still be able to see them and order them. I don't know how you're doing that now, but it's a bit of a pain. You maybe have to do them as two different keys, two different jobs or whatever. Let me show you this. Let me get a key. Okay, so here's one example. Mark photographed whoever these girls are, some cheerleader type girls, and there's her individual portraits, and she's got Carly, that's her name. She can see her individual portraits, all well and good. But there were a whole lot of group photos taken. Now, rather than Mark or the photographer have to painstakingly match those groups to each folder, there's no data involved with them. You just want to throw them up there and let people order from them and let them find the group photos that they want and belong to. Variable data and snippets. Click here to see the group photos. Just click there. And now she can scroll through and find whatever group photos she likes and order from them. And you can double click and see a bigger one and add that to the cart and give them instructions how to go back to their individual portraits. Click the order for another button top right and use your personal access key provided to you to get back to the individuals, which we can do. It was Bellagio in this case. Okay, so I can order, for example, my portrait, and you can be creative with this. So I've ordered a portrait package. A lot of people won't even see that snippet. I know how humans are. They're going to say, "Oh, I didn't even know I could order my group photos." Probably not in that accent, but they go to the cart. Look, I've got a snippet in the cart. Are you sure you don't want to order any group photos? It knows I didn't order group photos. It did that with a condition that checks for things in the cart. Remember that one? We saw it earlier. And you can say here, click here to see your group photos. Okay. And we can do that the other way around. We do it the other way around. If they order the group photo without an individual, we can have a snippet that, oh, sorry, wrong key. It's Bellagio, wasn't it? Okay, so let's say they go to here and only order a group photo. Yeah. Go to view cart. Are you sure you don't want to order any of your portraits? It knows you've ordered a group, but it knows you haven't ordered a portrait, and it's reminding them. And you can go back, click here to go back to the login page and put in your personal key. Hit below, go there. The cart up the top has still got her group photo in there. Now she can order a portrait as well. When she's got both types in there, there's no snippet. There's no snippet because now they've got both. You've successfully talked them into getting both types. And in fact, you can do even more. if you want, bring all things together. Now the delivery page knows that you've ordered both, and it says, as a special thank you for ordering both your portraits and a group photos, free shipping. And you know how to do that now because we've got conditional shipping. That probably, how to set all this up probably needs more explanation, but I'm thinking, Scott, I know you're in the crowd, even Becca doing graduations. Is this sort of thing something that you would like to learn how to do? It's a little bit more involved, but we're running out of time today, so I'm not going to go into nitty-gritties of looking at the job, etc. But is that something that interests people, how to do this sort of thing?
Yes.
We can, even in Oz, where we do a lot of group photos and miscellaneous groups for your schools, usually they're named groups in Neo Group, and that makes it so much easier because then being named groups, that miscellaneous group, like the cricket team, gets automatically presented to somebody who's in that cricket team photo. But sometimes you may do random groups and you just want to throw them up there and let anybody see them and order them. So here's a school. Their class group photo is down the bottom, as it always is if you're using Neo Group. And if our miscellaneous groups, if they had have been done through Neo Group, they would be down the bottom too. Exactly the number that were involving this particular kid, Frank Sinatra. But to see all your miscellaneous groups, click here. And then all the miscellaneous groups for that particular school, these ones don't have data up there. So same sort of concept, even for schools, not just for sports and events, we can do that. Okay, but we're running out of time. I'll quickly show you a further really hooky use of this that we can do, creative uses of getting variable data in snippets, because all we're doing with these things is putting in, I'll tell you what we're doing. Let's go back to Blue Eyes. Now we'll go back to Bellagio, wasn't it? I'll give you a hint. All that is, oh, sorry, it's a bit awkward here. As I hover over that link, see the bottom left-hand corner of my browser? It's just one of those links. See the site name, ordering with key. We're combining a key with our site URL. And when they're clicking that, it's like they're clicking on an email with a link for their key. That is just a key. Okay, it's the key for, and that key has got all the group photos matched to it. It needs more explanation, I know. We'll do it another time. But I just wanted to whet your appetite with it. And one last example is this one, Stardust. Now, let's say you're doing event type photography, no data at all, whatever the case may be. And Mark could use his example of the cheerleaders or whatever. I remember when I was doing my cycling at the race meets were over 3 days. Photographer would just take a whole lot of photos randomly, throw them up on his site. And then when you went to the site, it would say, I could go to the Friday collection of images, the Saturday collection of images, or the Sundays, and go through and find any of them that had me in it. Similar sort of thing. I used that as a model for this. You hand out one key. When they hit the site, they're not seeing packages, not seeing anything. They're seeing a menu of the different sessions. Again, these are just variable snippets, variable data and snippets. And I can go to Thursday morning, and they're all the shots that were taken for the Thursday morning. And my snippet is even now telling me that it's the Thursday morning session. Now, I haven't finished this one completely, so I forget if these other keys are going to work. But while we're in here, we can then go to Thursday afternoon. And yeah, haven't done this properly. But the idea is, oh, that one worked. You would see the different photos for the different sessions. This is something that you've not really been able to do too well with our site up to now. If you did these sort of photos, you'd throw them all in, you'd give people a job key, and they'd have to wade through 1,000 images to find them. Using this, you could subdivide them into these sort of sessions, and people can zoom in because they can They can go to the grid, for example, and see all the photos for whatever session we were in order. You know where I'm going through with this. And again, I don't know how many of these are active. Yeah, and there's the Saturday morning session. Variable snippets. That is coming from job data. These links are coming from job data. We're grabbing keys from the job somewhere, somehow. If this sort of thing interests people, because I don't want to spend all next week on this. If this sort of thing interests people, let me know. If you're specifically interested, let me know. We'll do a separate webinar, maybe a small group webinar, and we'll go through all the nitty-gritties of how to do something like this, rather than do it in a more general webinar where it may not interest a lot of people because they don't do these sort of jobs. So have a think about that. And just to give you a bit of a heads up, you can sort of see where we're going. This is how we got things. See, they're different subjects. They're Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon are different subjects. They've got keys. All those images are matched to a subject. We've used folder fields. Our snippet, and the beauty is, if you listen to the young Dino, the beauty is I've made the snippet like a template. You know how I was harping on about making your templates in Neopack generic so it can be used over and over again? My snippet is very generic, so I can use it over and over for different shoots, no matter what the session name is, because it's calling the session name from the data. No matter what the session key is, it's calling from the data. There's no job-specific data in here. It's all pulling it from the job. That means I can use this snippet for all sorts of events, whether there's 2 sessions, 6 sessions. I've made it right up to 8 sessions. Session 8, just to give you a clue as to where we're going with this. If you're interested in this, we'll do a separate webinar on it, and just for the people who are really interested. And if it's a small group, we'll have all microphones on and we can talk about it. Other than that, I think this is a good time to stop. We went an hour and a half, which was probably about right. There's more to show next week and probably some revision on this. Any questions on this last bit that I showed you?
No questions, but people are quite interested in the links you're showing.
Okay. So next week, we're going to look at some new conditions, which are quite powerful. And I'll just show you the conditions, but again, some creative uses on them. Things like, I don't know, if people have ordered before. Even if it's a paper order, drive them back to your site and it will know that they've ordered before, even if it was a paper order, and offer them some sort of bonus package. We'll look at a condition that will do that for you. Similarly, a different way of handling digital. If people pre-order a digital photo rather than have it automatically go to them, tell them to go back to the site to claim it. And then they have to go back to the site. They can get their free digital portrait, well, free in the sense that they pre-ordered it, but maybe when they're there, they'll order a couple of extra things. So maybe they'll get you more sales. So again, there'll be a condition that knows that this person ordered, even by paper order, may have ordered a digital product. A couple of not workarounds, a couple of creative uses of these couple of new conditions that I'm going to show you. Whatever's left over from today, there's a new thing in Neopack, not a biggie, don't get too excited, but we'll have a look at some sideways things. All right. If there are no other questions, we can call it a day.
I think that's we can call it a day.
We can call it a day. All right. So thank you. If anybody wants to hang around for a little while and chat, well, we can do that. We'll stop the recording. And depending on how many you want to hang around, we can turn on the microphones. I don't know, Mark, if it's getting late over there. I don't know if you guys just need to go. That's fine too.
Just anybody who wants to hang around, I throw it in the question that you want to hang around and we can do that. Most people are saying thanks. Thank you. Thank guys.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I know it's awkward. It's always hard to know what time to do this and what time of year. I know a lot of the Aussies couldn't be here because they're still shooting And I know for other people in other parts of the world, it's late and you want to go have dinner. Or Matt, I don't know if you're still around. You've probably gone to sleep. Yeah, so
there are a couple of people who want to stay around.
Well, if you want to stay around, please do so.
Otherwise, log out.
Otherwise, log out, and we'll see you next week. If you're here this week and can't make it next week, go ahead and register anyway, because the system will then send you a recording, which is not exactly the same thing, but at least you'll get that automatically. So if you can't come next week, register anyway, if you haven't already done so. All right, I'm going to stop the recording as soon as I realise know how. So, yeah, anyway, thanks, everyone. We're officially over. We can swear as soon as I stop the recording. Do you know where I stopped the recording, Mark?
I have no idea.
I hope it was recording.
Yeah, it was recording the whole time. It says right at the bottom, this session is being recorded.
Right. Good. English. No, we don't want to change the language. Is Matt still around?
Yeah, he's on the list. He's still on the list.
You'd think I'd know how to, would make it obvious.
Oh, right there. Stop recording. You want me to stop it?
Where?